Oh, g'day everyone. Well, welcome back to another episode of On the Couch with Woody, where I get to interview and meet some of the up-and-coming and the established artists, especially in the country genre. It's wonderful today that I've got a young musician who's been making waves, especially over the last 12 months. He's got a great story. I know him back in the day, actually taught him a little bit, but I think he could probably teach me now. So I'm going to introduce him now. His name is Ryan Mead, and welcome to On the Couch with Woody.
Thank you very much for having me.
Mate, fantastic, man. It's gone full circle, hasn't it, with us?
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of, it probably would, you would have been in your 10 or 11 or something like that.
I think it was earlier.
Even
it was
younger.
7 or 8.
One of your first
I feel bad for you having to deal with me that young. I was probably thinking Star Wars every lesson.
No,
you have
not
to
at
deal
all.
with it. But.
No, I remembered your enthusiasm, and that's always great for when you're teaching, to have someone who's actually wants to be there.
Yeah.
But let's start, Ryan, with your story, your journey. When you started guitar, what was the first age that you sort of got, exposed to music?
Yeah, so from a young age was always super exposed to music. Very musical family. So my grandfather, dad, all my uncles all played in brass bands growing up. So we were always around that scene. Anzac Day, we'd march in the city and do those things. So first instruments I ever got my hands on were drums. 4 or 5, just kind of sat at it and threw sticks everywhere where I could. And then eventually, the guitar bite kind of kicked through. I thought it'd be pretty cool, and that was about, I think, when I was 7 or 8, Mum and Dad got me a bright red little electric guitar. Wouldn't stay in tune. I think it was a Big W one, but and that was when I came for lessons when I was 7 or 8, and I tried guitar for a bit, and I ended up going back to drums because just what everyone in the family kind of did.
Yeah.
So then I played drums for many years. That was pretty much from 9 to 15 was only drums, and that was primary instrument, really all I was doing. And then it was about year 8 in high school, we had guitar again, and I had the guitar from when we did lessons, kind of sitting around. I went, I think I might do a couple of hours of homework and get that up, and as I'm sure you know, it just eats away at you. Like, you get hooked on it, and you can't stop. So it was, and I remember watching Back to the Future, and it was Johnny B. Good, and I was like, that's what I need to do.
You don't know this, but you will one day.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, that's I need to be able to do that in my life, and that was kind of what kicked it off for me.
Here you are. So you're a young fella, so it doesn't matter asking your age. How old are you now?
Just turned 18.
Just turned 18. And that first moment, was there any pivotal moment in your life that you go, was there any, you were exposed to music as a young fella with your family? Was it a progressive thing, or was there a pivotal moment where you decided, I want to take this from just being a hobby and something I enjoy doing to the first steps in making a career?
Yeah, I think I'd say it's a couple of different moments over time. I started playing guitar for people before myself. And then it was, I wanted nothing to do with singing to start with. Like, it petrified me. And then there was a duo gig that came through, and the girl, Jade Stegbow, another local musician, she said to me, no, you're going to sing and you're going to play guitar and we're going to do that. And I just went, okay. Let's do it. And we did that for a couple months, and that was where I got to really like, well, this is kind of what it's like to work a bit, get your chops on singing. And I think it was as we did that for a couple months, then I went, I ought to give this a go and give it a fair crack. And, I think I've been very, very fortunate, very lucky along the way with certain things to allow me to keep doing it. And I think as it's kind of snowballed a bit, I've just gone, why stop it?
Why stop it?
Hop on, have some fun.
So it wasn't even a conscious decision. Like, I remember being watching singers at the age of 4 and 5 at Dreamworld, but like the Barbershop Quartet, and I knew I wanted to be a singer then. For you, it was more music and playing an instrument, and then you kind of almost got forced into becoming a singer.
100%. It was.
Well, you got to thank her.
Yeah, 100%. I heard
it was a good gentle push.
But I was petrified of it. Like, the idea of singing in front of people in general, it was, absolutely petrified. And then I just got over it, I guess, as you need to. So,
Well, the one thing I always tell students when we're teaching them here at Mead Music is that you've got to, the only way to get over stage fright is just to constantly do it.
Yeah, 100%.
And there's no easy way. And I'm further down the line than you, but you still get anxiety and self-conscious of being you're bearing your soul to the world. But after that first G chord or that first couple of claps or applause, or if it's a big crowd, it all goes away in a second, and you go, hang on, it's game time now.
Yep.
So that's interesting, because like I've seen you evolve, and you're doing some good gigs, mate. Like especially we did the Cronulla performance, which is a massive stage, and you held your own up there by yourself with an acoustic guitar, which is not an easy thing to do. You know, it's a lonely world if you don't feel confident in doing that. When did you start to turn your hat? I mean, you got the country look now.
Yeah.
But when did the country bug come into play for you?
Yeah. This one's always a bit of a weird story because it's a question I get asked a lot. But I was doing guitar lessons with one of the tutors at school who actually now plays guitar for me, and we do lots of gigs together. But he had a gig with Luke O'Shea.
Right.
And he was brushing up on his country chops, and he was learning Chattahoochee by Alan Jackson.
Yep.
And he was playing it in the lesson as I walked in, and he's like, "Oh, sorry," and he went to pull away. I went, "No, like I'm curious, what is it?" And we learnt it. And I went, "It's a bit of a goofy song," and I was like, I want nothing to do with that type of music. But lo and behold, then I added it to a playlist, and you listen to it on the car on the way back and on the way to school, and then you listen to more Alan Jackson, and just eats away at you. Like truly, it was I've always liked blues and rootsy kind of music. You know, listen to lots of Dire Straits as a kid.
Yeah. Right.
But then, something just clicked where I went, oh, this kind of has a bit of all the things I've always liked, and as I found more and more of it, it really just became, this is what I want to play, this is what I want to do.
That's mad. So who, like you've got Alan Jackson there, but who would you attest to some of your writing and your stylistic? Is there some artists that you go, I mean, I can clearly state the Goo Goo Dolls, Bon Jovi, Keith Urban, Matchbox 20, Bryan Adams, those, all of those artists for me, people can hear it in my music straight away.
Of course.
It's very obvious.
Yeah.
So, but what's your kind of, your influence, and where do you see your shape and your sound evolving?
Yeah. I'd say my number one is a fellow by the name of George Strait.
Yes.
Absolutely love George Strait. He's well and truly my number one influence, but it's all those 80s and 90s country guys that I just fell in love with. Keith Whitley, Vince Gill, of course, Alan Jackson. And listening to that was kind of, you know, Nashville had some of the best songwriters. It still does.
Yeah.
And I found that, and I found really recently too, in the past 2 to 3 years, there's a lot of guys in their early 20s who are coming on and doing the opera and stuff who are bringing that sound back again. Like we've lost a lot of the bro country click track that we had for a little bit, and it's kind of come full circle where they're bringing back the old honky tonk sounds, and a couple guys, Zach Top, Jake Worthington, Drake Milligan, they're all, you know, obviously a lot younger and working their way up, but really doing their best.
Sound,
to bring it back, which is, I mean, great to hear. I mean, I don't know if you agree. I think right now is probably one of the best times to be a country music
100%,
fan.
Yeah. Fan and musician, it's popular again.
It hasn't been this way since George Strait and those guys were at the helm of it. So a lot of those old guys is where I try and pull my sound from, but then I kind of look up to some of the younger guys doing it, going, that's a role I'd love to take. So.
Cool. So it's exciting times for you. I mean, you've got a little trip over to America, which is going to start soon in March, but you'll be over there for a year. Tell everyone what you're doing over there.
Yeah, so I'm going over to Berkeley for 12 months, which is the College of Music up in Boston. I was very fortunate to get an offer to go over there and play some bluegrass music for them. And that kind of came about as I was there in 2022, as we were talking about before, and all my mates were auditioning, and I figured, why not give it a bit of a crack? And lo and behold, I was very fortunate to get an offer on the condition that you play bluegrass, and that's what I'll go do. So I'll be over there for 12 months. And
well, it can't help being in the room with those musicians. I mean, they're going to be like next level.
It'll be insane.
Scary.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting. So what I also like to go back, and you're only a young fella, so you've still got a lot of life to live, but there's always, being a teenager in this day and age is a difficult sea to navigate. So what in your life has sort of gone down a dark road, or is there any times where you go, you know what, that was a turning point in my life, and music sort of gave me an outlet? Do you lean on that side of of your personality, or do you always try and stay melancholy and a bit more positive with your writing? Like, is there any times that at school when it was not cool to be a musician, or, you know, you thought, hang on a second, or you might have had a good friend, you know, go down a dark road or something? Is there any sort of... No?
Yes and no. I'd say one thing I really enjoyed was working with other people and exploring those avenues. So when I was in the States, for example, like, you know, you're pulling up some of those past times that you've written down a verse or something, because as you do as a songwriter, your natural reaction sometimes is to grab a pen and just make it rhyme. But we kind of sitting down with other people, and you'd kind of pull out that piece of paper and go, this happened at this point in time, whether it's, you know, I had friends with breakups, with that, you know, and kind of all looking into that and using music as an outlet. I think that it can be an incredibly social thing to share when that happens. I'm not incredible in those times making it music, especially with country. It's very cheeky music a lot of the time. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think in the past, like they're definitely not all happy songs. But nothing horrible's happened to me. No, thankfully.
I want your path to be smooth.
But I almost feel like it's been too smooth.
No, that's all right.
But yeah, like I think a lot of the time I use it to kind of tell stories more than express certain emotions.
Okay, yep.
But I really enjoy doing that and also helping other people to do that when you're writing with other people.
So collaborations are a big thing for you, and I mean, you'll be doing a lot of that in the States.
Yeah.
And were you collaborating with your family when you were younger? Like, if you had a musical family, were they some of the first people you wrote songs with, or how did that all happen?
No, not really writing songs. I mean, I'm very fortunate. Dad's still drums. He plays all my band gigs with me now. He's kind of
awesome.
It's given him. He's always played, but he wasn't playing kind of as much as I thought he should. And then I said, well, hop on and
you're in the band,
and that's super cool that before a gig, if we want to touch up or jam or figure something out, he hops on a drum kit, I plug in a guitar, and the two of us can kind of work through it. And same with when writing songs, not as much for the words. I tend to try and do that myself to start with, but with the music, sometimes you want to hear drums behind it, or sometimes you want to. So working with family is huge.
Great. And your family is mum and dad, and you got siblings as well.
Yeah, I have a sister.
I met your sister. So does your sister play at all?
Not as much at the moment, but she used to be a drummer as well.
Okay.
Really stuck within the kind of brass band area too. Playing in symphonies and stuff. She was an incredibly good mallets player.
Wow.
Back in the day, and so we never really got to play in bands together, because normally as she'd start to leave those bands is exactly when we're 4 years apart. But so no, mum doesn't play an instrument, she takes the photos.
She's the manager?
100%.
That's good, I know that,
But and then we, like as a family, more an extended family, once a year, normally week out from Christmas, we have carols at our grandparents' house up in Janali, and they get 100, 200 people sitting on their lawn.
Oh, great.
And then all the family hops out, and we get some friends to come in, and we've got charts that are much, much older than I am, and we kind of sit up and read them and play them together and just...
have fun.
Yeah, have fun. So, collaborating with family is huge, and I think they're always your immediate...
You go-to.
Yeah, go-to.
Well, a lot of musicians, I mean, I don't have anyone in my family that plays instruments, so if you've got that, I mean, I'm looking forward to that evolving with my boys as well, and helping them along the way if they want to. They don't have to. It's a tough gig being a musician. But the reward is out there once you... my good friend Matt, who does some Speedy Tech Media, who does all these videos, he just says quietly, you just got to put the work in. And it's a good way of looking at it. If you keep it simple and just put the work in and make every day just a little victory, then the big picture sort of starts to come into play. So you're doing that, mate. You've put the steps in, you put the work in, you learn guitar, you sing well, you're writing songs, you're going to Berkeley, which is going to blow your mind and extend your vocabulary like no end. What have we got coming on the radar, as in music, for Ryan Mead?
So I'm very, very fortunate to be having a single coming out on the 29th. We thought it'd be a bit cheeky to put it out on a leap year, put it on the 29th of Feb. So it'll have its birthday once every 4 years. But it's coming out. It's called Tangled Up in Wranglers.
Yeah.
It was the riff for that song I had kind of sitting around. I'd actually written it in 2022 at Berkeley, and then just forgot about it. Just disappeared, and then I was at home one day. I went, oh, I remember how to play that, and kind of put it all together. And then was very fortunate to work with a team of people to try and bring that song to life. And then,
So where'd you record it at?
it was a real mix. So there's a local musician called Tim Moxie. I don't know if you...
I've never met him, but I know of him.
Yeah. So I recorded probably half of it with him. We did all the vocals and some of the tracking, and then the other half with a gentleman by the name of Jai Perry Banks, who played the steel on it and helped with kind of the bones of the track.
The Banks Brothers?
Yeah, Banks Brothers. Yeah,
I know of them. Yep,
so
great musicians.
yeah, so it was working with them, and then kind of finished up a product and put it out there.
So that'll be at the 29th of March? February, of course, the leap year. So 29th of February. And where can people go? I mean, they're not going to be able to see you in Australia for a year because you'll be overseas, but is there anywhere that they can check you out before you go away?
We've got a few gigs before I go. So on the 28th, we're playing a little trio show up at Sunday Road.
Yep.
It's free entry. Anyone's welcome. We do have capacity, so we need to know if you're coming. But we're doing a little single launch there.
Good.
And then I'm playing up at a festival called Night in Nashville.
Yep.
A couple of days later on March 1st up in Orange.
Yep.
Which is a great night with some other Aussie country musicians.
Fantastic.
And then I have a few shows at Jolene's in the city.
Okay.
Which is kind of a honky-tonk bar there on York Street.
Yep.
And then a few local gigs too before I go, just in and around.
Do you put all your dates on the website?
All on my Instagram and Facebook.
Instagram and Facebook, yeah. Good. So we could just tell the camera where they can see and reach out to you.
Yeah, of course. If you want to send me a message on Instagram or Facebook, feel free to, but everything's posted there, normally at the top of the page. It's all on my website as well.
RyanMead.com?
RyanMeadmusic.com.
RyanMeadmusic.com.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, mate, I don't want you to leave without playing us a song.
Sure.
I like to throw people in the let's make sure it's tuned up for you. I'll just take this out, mate.
Sure.
But you can play your favourite cover, or you can play an original, or whatever you like. Do you need a pick, mate?
We'll figure it out. It'll be fine, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the Woody Prattley, and thanks to Prattley Guitars for endorsing me this guitar. It's a beautiful little strummer. But we'll hear Ryan. We'll finish off the show with having Ryan. What are you going to play us, bro?
I think I might play a little bit of George Strait. If that's
George
fun by
Strait
you.
song.
Yeah.
All right, you can play it, bro.
Awesome,
Go for it.
thank you. Call me the fireman, babe. Well, that's my name. Making my rounds all over town, got me insane. Everybody like to have what I got. I can come out to smoke, hat on a fireman, babe. Well, that's my name. Last night I had a bad one, mile or two down the road. Well, my buddy wild out, this woman burned out of control. And I was down and about, and I was sure with a little mouse, she was ready to go. I'm the fireman, babe. Well, that's my name. They call me the fireman, babe. Well, that's my name. Making my rounds all over town, I got me insane. Everybody like to have what I got. I can come down to smoke, hat on the fireman, babe. Well, that's my name. I got a red t-shirt, a T-bird automobile. Well, a minute or less can be dressed fit to kill. I work 24 hours, guess too hot, just give me a call. I'm a fireman, babe. Well, that's my day. They call me the fireman, babe. Well, that's my name. Making my rounds all over town, I got me insane. Everybody like to have what I got. I can come down the smoke, hat on fireman, babe. Well, that's my name. They call me the Fireman Navy. Well, that's my name.
Ooh, that's right.
Thank you.
Thank you, mate. Thanks for being on the couch.
Thank you
with
so
Woody,
much
mate.
for having me. I
And
appreciate it.
Good luck in America,
Thank
mate.
you very much.
Can't wait to
Thank
see
you.
what you can do when you come back.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys. That's it. We'll see you next week.
Get your boots on.
In a world driven by visuals, every frame tells a story. Every moment captures emotion. At Speedy Tech Media, we breathe life into your vision. Our dedicated team of experts craft unforgettable experiences. We don't just shoot videos, we create memories that last a lifetime. Join us in making your dreams a reality. Elevate your brand with Speedy Tech Media. Contact us today. Let's tell your story together.